Hi, Angela. For the first time in forever, it's just you and me. It's just you and me. How you doing?
Good.
It's good to see you.
It's good to see you too. Again,
It's always good to see you. I get to see you all day, but it's always good to see you like this. I like seeing you across from me in this way. It's really fun. And so hello and welcome to Tuesday. I think I fixed the sound, and I appreciate everybody's input there. I got busy right away, and I fixed it. I think. Mm-hmm. But you know, who knows? I know you're only getting the bypass signal, so you can't really tell. So we'll just see if if we get some folks here tonight, whether or not they can tell, and if not, then we'll just have to rely on the recording, which I am doing. So yeah, I mean, I don't expect it to be a big crowd tonight because I'm actually doing yesterday's headlines because yesterday I got so consumed by, the whole Baldoni audio drop, which I still am fascinated with to this very fucking minute. So we'll see what happens. Did you see that post? There was a post on Baldoni Files, and it was somebody who was once a supporter.
Yes, I've seen
and
a few
has
of these.
who's showed up and they're like, I've had it. Like, I think there's going to be some people tapping out. We're seeing it, but I think it's more than we're even seeing. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm actually really stunned by this. There's I can find this other example too. I think I saved it for us. Hang on.
Gosh, I hope. Can you tell if our audio is? I guess you can't tell if our audio is working. I think it is. I'm nervous because we don't have anybody here, which is very well. It says we have 3 people here, but I don't see anybody. Hi, whoever you are. Okay. Anyway, yes, Justin Baldoni.
Let me see if I can find it. It was so interesting. We couldn't believe it that there was this one account that has been so loud. Like they're a blue checkmark account.
Yeah.
And so they'll write like just paragraphs of total bullshit in defense of Justin Baldoni. Like they're really emphatic, but they don't actually understand anything.
Yeah.
Like they'll make a lot of like false claims.
Yeah, yeah.
And they have turned.
Some of them,
and
yeah.
they're one of the biggest accounts that
I had some very fucking interesting arguments today with, not argument, you say arguments, but just some points I'm making to people who are making just wild, outlandish posts. But anyway, okay, well.
I wish I had known. I would have found this. I'm sorry.
It's okay. I am forgiving you. So just, obviously this isn't going to take up a lot of time, but the millions that marched this weekend in the No Kings rally, which, they're calling it a protest, but I don't really think it qualifies as a protest.
It's not a protest.
It's a rally, which I think is great and wonderful. And I think that it shows that, I think that if things, if shit really hits the fans, that people are going to be out there, people like Pedro Pascal.
Yeah, I saw it. It was so great. I don't know if it was his sign or whether he was just holding it for somebody else, but, for the picture.
Yeah.
But somebody had made a sign. It was that iconic photograph of Divine. You remember Divine?
Of course.
John Waters' fame, Divine.
I was there for the 25th anniversary at Sundance, but I wasn't actually there, but I did meet John Waters.
The 25th anniversary of Pink Flamingos.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
It was it was the 25th anniversary at Sundance, and he came and he got his photograph, and behind him was Don's Plum because we were just testing it for the screening that we were having at the Slum Dance, which was up at Park City at the same time as Sundance.
There's just this incredible photograph of Divine is like looking over her shoulder in the foreground and just like sneering, like the most disgusted expression.
Yeah, it's on the
Donald Trump
thumbnail.
In the background, right over her shoulder.
It's on the thumbnail.
They said the sign said no kings, only queens.
I can't even believe that exists.
It's so wonderful.
A fucking amazing thing.
I know. I can't believe that. Like somehow they ended up at the same party or something, same hallway. Anyway, I loved it. But I'm just okay. Here's the thing.
What's up, Jeremy? By the way, what's
I'm
up?
very conflicted.
Yeah.
About the No Kings rally. Okay.
Yes.
Because on the one hand, apparently you have to get the time and location, and it's a finite time. It's like a 2-hour rally, and then everybody's supposed to go home.
Yeah.
which is not how protests usually work.
Right.
But you have to go to a website and you have to input your email address. So it's an email capturing website before they send you any information about where the rally is.
Right.
The meetup spot, I guess. And that just seems really suspicious to me because especially in this like increasingly dystopian surveillance state, we're not supposed to be protesting by giving away our personal contact information. You know what I mean? That's not really, that's neither wise nor effective.
Hey, listen, I don't want to be too critical of this though. Like this is like, I get it. I understand where you're coming from and I'm not going to argue
conflicted. But there's like pros,
there's no reason to step on this when this is the largest, response or objection to a U.S. president in the fucking history of the country. So there's no way that in any way that I think that this should be diminished in any. Look, I understand what you're saying. I think it's valid and I understand it. But I just want to be like, hey.
You haven't heard what I'm saying.
Well, you're talking about like how, it's kind of weak sauce, right? Because it's not really, it's like it could very well be a registration of offenders.
Yeah, except it's organized by, here's the thing. It's like, okay, there's political leaders in our country that really, really love to divert very, righteous rage into something that is ineffective. They love to just be like, oh, don't worry, I can take all of that for you and put it in this place where it's certainly just going to make you feel better and not actually do anything effective.
I see. Let me tell you why I already believe it's being effective. Like Donald Trump, for example, 2 days ago or yesterday, I was going to talk about it because it was 2 days ago that I read, or maybe it was yesterday that I read that Donald Trump Donald Trump was considering commuting P. Diddy's sentence. Okay, so whatever, that's out there. Today, he vehemently denies it. Now, I'm sus like right away. I'm like, yo, come on, bro. I bet you were because I heard him with his own mouth. He was considering it. He even like laid out like he was pressuring the judge. He was trying to persuade the judge.
To do what?
To lighten the guy's sentence or to let him out.
P. Diddy's sentence.
Yes, because prior to P. Diddy being sentenced, Donald Trump, spoke about his intent to intervene if he felt like anything was inappropriate going down on Diddy, and that he was still thinking about pardoning him, period.
That's an interesting choice of words you just did.
Pardoning?
No, going down on Diddy.
Wouldn't he just love to?
Why is this in the context of the No Kings rally? I guess I'm curious about how you jumped to that topic. Because I wasn't done talking about it.
Because Donald Trump was on board already with helping Diddy out.
Okay, but what does that have
7 million people took to the streets.
Okay.
7 million took to the streets, and I believe that they're dealing with that today.
Who's dealing with what?
The Republican Party in general is dealing with that. Look, look. Here's the thing about cheating elections and all this other stuff, and I obviously don't want to get into too much of the like agitation of this climate we're in, but to skim over the top of it, at least so that it can all make coherent sense. If there's an overwhelming majority of people voting in one direction in any given state, it cannot be there. I don't think they're equipped to be able to pull off any kind of election fraud significant enough. Like I can see how you can fucking pull shit off in the swing states because they're swing states. It's going to fucking be a 3 point, 4 point, 5 point swing tops. You can play games there if you can get access to it and you can be smart enough and whatever, have all the connections, whatever conspiracy theory you want to lay out. But you can't do it when 70%, 80%, whatever it is, when they're calling them, when the pollsters are calling them because it's just like, Democrat or Republican coming out the door. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So if they're faced with overwhelming,
what you're saying, I don't know whether that's truly what's happening.
If they're faced with overwhelming pressure, well, great. I'm glad that I'm not saying anything is happening. I'm throwing out theoretical ideas here. That 7 million people in the streets is the largest protest. I know it's not technically a protest, but we'll call it the protest. I think No Kings is controlled opposition, a big circle jerk, accomplishes nothing event. Well, I don't totally agree with that. Cosmic urgency.
Cosmic urgency.
Yeah.
I'm with cosmic urgency. I don't think it's entirely useless.
Wow, you say it accomplishes nothing. That's crazy to me.
No, why is it crazy?
Because 7 million people, for the first time ever in this country's history, took to the streets to protest.
To accomplish what?
To
This is the question.
Well,
what is the stated goal? Protests have a goal.
Yeah.
What is the stated goal? I mean, no kings is we fought a revolutionary war over that. I
have to be careful. I have to be careful. I always say this because this is like you're getting into that territory where No,
it's not what you assume the goal is.
No, I'm not going to assume the goal. I'm going to tell you what I think is happening though, because that's what we do here. So I think that we see that the water is hot. The water is not yet boiling.
Oh, we're frogs in a boiling pot.
No, we're not we're the water itself.
Oh, okay.
We're the heat. We're the water about to boil. We're the So this is the point I'm trying to make, dude. Right now we're out there.
Does American water ever boil? Recently,
America revolutionized revolution.
Okay, here's.
Do you know that America caused the world to revolt? That's like a crazy question. It's just because it hasn't happened in your lifetime, and I'm not.
You would probably want to refer to like maybe our Western contemporaries are like France, right? They definitely
France revolted because of America. But it was Thomas Paine who worked with France to revolt.
But especially the Caribbean is a really, really good place to look for. They consistently fucking whoop. They whoop colonizer ass in the Caribbean all throughout history. So I don't know that the United States has such a great track record in comparison. If you're making comparisons,
I think it's a sit back and watch situation then, because I think that what we saw today, 2 days ago, was one of the most encouraging things I've ever seen since Bush v. Gore. So for me, I've been in this country for 30 years now. I have admired the politics, we could say. And I could say that today is the first time I've ever seen what I felt was like a real American, like, hey, it's going to get bad around here. This isn't the end all. This isn't the end.
I understand. I want to continue to talk about why I think there are pros and cons about this No Kings rally. Okay.
Sure.
Okay. The pros were there were a lot of American flags, which is one of these things that is like definitely awesome to see, turning the tables. There's a lot of military people and a lot of American flags, because for far too long, like the right has sort of like claimed patriotism and ultimately like just learned to weaponize patriotism. Okay. But it's really awesome to see that there's a bunch of people on every part of the political spectrum.
Well, they use it as a shield against their bigotry and hatred.
Right. They're trying to rebrand what Americanism is like, and it's just not fair nor inclusive.
They're also patriotic to things like slavery and, this like nonsense.
Well, so I'm saying that it's a pro that you see there's a bunch of people that showed up. There are a lot of people that showed up that were, they're disaffected. Am I using that word right? Where they're like, they used to be on the...
Unaffected?
They used to be, no, they're like displeased.
Disassociated?
Yeah, from the right wing, who showed up at the rally and were like, oh, these are American patriots too. Like I think that's a good thing, that it seemed to be like a big communal environment, I guess, which is kind of like the bar's on the floor. You're supposed to be able to have like a rally about Americanism and not have that be like an achievement, but here we are. That was a pro. The other pro is that the size of it is really amazing. I do wish that there was a way that they could turn it into something more than just like, I'm assuming that those emails are going to be collected and then they're just going to send fundraiser emails to them, like try to raise funds for Democratic, whoever's running in that local election or whatever. Now those people are on the fundraising list. I'm assuming that's usually how it goes, because I've been to rallies like this before, and that's where my information ends up.
Mm-hmm.
But I did collect what I thought were really good perspectives from people on Twitter who are smarter and more articulate than me, that I wanted to throw to you to see how you feel. Do you feel like doing that for 10 minutes?
Okay.
This guy, Dan Kervick on Twitter, he was responding to a huge, the No Kings rally in Times Square. absolutely fucking massive.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like the New Year's when the ball drops. It's like shoulder to shoulder packed.
Yeah, I saw the pictures. It was
yeah, it's great. He was that
it was
guy
like a Trump rally.
Those aren't that crowded.
Or made a Trump inauguration.
That person said the No Kings rally was massive, below the threat of everything this nonviolent, non-confrontational protest achieved. And I thought Dan Kervick's retweet of this was really interesting. He said, "I'm very sincere when I say I struggle to understand the psychology of people who think political power has been usurped by a tyrant, but they also think it's important to be non-confrontational."
Let me tell you why.
Okay.
Because there's a reason.
Great.
Because we're not there yet, man. Because we still believe, Americans still believe, all those 7 million people out there, they believe they have an election coming.
They believe they have political power.
They believe they have a political choice. And they believe that they can influence others to have the political choice. Now, whether or not that's true or not, that's another fucking whole argument that people would have to have. We don't actually have any facts supporting things like election fraud. We don't have any facts supporting that any elections were stolen ever in this country, even if we suspect that it goes all the way back to Bush v. Gore, right? So, as far as as far as that goes, you have people who are taking the streets because they believe that they can sway and influence voters. Also, what I think that, and this is really interesting to me because I think it's really it's such almost like a conundrum to be in, because I feel like this is a situation where you have to go out peacefully against this guy. This guy's looking for an opportunity for martial law. This guy's looking for an opportunity. He's already committed to sending in troops, right? National Guard to San Francisco. San Francisco is experiencing the lowest crime rates in their history, and he's sending National Guard to that city. So imagine if the protests are extremely loud or super energized in a way that is threatening in any way. Imagine if those protests had anything like January 6th written on them. And then imagine what we'd be looking at today, instead of them pouting their lips out and trying to accuse, which, by the way, they are still trying to this minute, trying to accuse those protesters, those 7 million people, being violent and being, terrorists.
It's just a little bit circular.
How do you mean?
Well, because you're talking about how it's an achievement that nobody gave them a reason to declare martial law. But what did they achieve, though? Well.
So again, that goes back to the same thing.
Changed?
Let me go back. They think that they have a vote, and they might be right, but they think they have a vote. They think they have a vote that counts. This protest isn't about usurping anybody. This protest.
No. You're misunderstanding the tweet.
This protest is about. I'm talking about the protest. I'm not thinking about the tweet.
These people
actually
think political power has been usurped by a tyrant. They think their political power has been usurped.
No, I know that.
Yeah.
I'm saying they're not trying to get it back, right? Through any kind of action.
That's what I'm saying.
In this walk.
That's my criticism.
Well, that shouldn't be a criticism, because they think
they're not trying to get it back.
They are. They're trying to get it back through their vote. I'm saying they're trying to get it back through some means that are similar to.
You're saying that they still believe they have it.
They still believe they have the opportunity to get this guy out legit. Okay. They think they can go to a midterm, right? They think they can take over the 2 other branches of government, right? And not only stop all this madness, he's tearing down part of the White House right now. Stop all of the madness.
He can just do that kind of shit. It's fucking bonkers.
It's impossible to believe, but he's doing it, right?
Crazy.
And this is all, by the way, this is getting.
That's not the most appalling thing ever. Whatever, it's a fucking building. Who cares? They fall down.
Yeah, but he's making a ballroom while having to stipend farmers because he blew the soybeans out of. We're getting into it, right?
Right.
But it's deeper than just him tearing down, a building. By the way, I find it entirely unironic that let me finish that he's tearing down the first lady's quarters.
Yeah, right. She doesn't use it anyway.
He's tearing down the women's section of the White House.
Yeah. And the guest section. He's like, we're not going to need that. Ain't nobody coming to visit.
What would have been what's his name's place to work?
Well, it also would have been
if Harris had one.
That's typically where when you visit the White House as a tourist, that's where you would enter. But he's like, we're not going to do that anymore. It's just going to be locked down. Okay, I have 3 more for you. Okay. This person says, this is user power to the people. Okay.
Yeah.
No kings proved one thing.
Yeah.
The size of a protest is meaningless if there's no policy demands and direct threats to power. This was a parade to funnel people from the red capitalist party to the blue capitalist party to ensure the source of our problems, capitalism, remains unthreatened.
I'm not sure what people expect them to be out there doing, because there wasn't a specific, they didn't plan, like the thing they're talking about is different than what happened. And they can't seem to reconcile that. What happened was an organized rally to say that we are not a place where we have kings, because there is a threat by this man who lives in the office right now and who's tearing it down, who says that he's going to run again in 2028, where he does not respect the branches of government and the normal flow of government that has been going on since its formation, right? So this is their message to this administration through this organized, let's get out onto the streets.
People don't want you to be a king. But that's
it's not just this many people. It's this many people showed up to say it. They know more than anybody, certainly more than probably most of us, that those people represent a percentage of people who have a similar feeling, and they're the sort of they're that smaller percentage that actually get up off the couch and do something about it, but they represent a much larger number, and they know that. They know that's what that means. So there's a conflation here. We're not taking to the streets over a certain policy. If that happens, it might look different. This was taken to the streets to send a message to say there will be no kings in this country.
Yes.
This is not a country for kings.
No, I know.
So and to protest to protest the problem is so much more broad than what any group that could go out into the streets right now and try to protest, because we have a House that is completely acquiescing to a president. And then, of course, he has control of the Senate by vote as well. But he's got a House that won't check him. So the one branch of government that's supposed to stop him from doing all these crazy things like the tariffs, tearing down the fucking White House, not doing all this fucking madness that he's doing all around him, causing fucking trade wars, destabilizing the entire economy and supply chain so that his friends can buy the dip. All these things that are going on around him are supposed to be held in account by Congress, and they're not doing it.
Right.
So you can't. What do you want people to do? Like you have a broader, bigger problem in terms of when you want to say like, hey, these should be taken to the street to policy because of a single policy. So what they are trying to do is organize. And organizing is at least one step in the right direction.
Listen, I'm not.
And it's representative of a sentiment. It is representative of a desire for whatever change or for whatever message that needs to be sent.
I'm not trying to shit on it. I'm just like I'm allowed to hold two perspectives in my mind simultaneously.
I'm just reacting to the post like you asked me to. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
My apologies.
I think it's great, and I also think that it is lacking. And I'm just I'm trying to sort through those thoughts.
Yeah.
And I love that I can bounce these things off of you so I can get your perspective on things.
I do.
But you seem to be so much on one side as opposed to holding those two contradictions in your mind at the same time.
Well, I don't understand where there is any production, like what's productive about, sort of holding your nose up to it when it's
But that's not what I'm doing either.
I'm not saying you're doing that. I'm saying any sentiment that is trying to say that this was kind of like a waste of time, or that it was like, it's like whatever, is I think lacking in perspective. It's not looking at what this was.
Yes.
They wanted it to be something that it wasn't. And that's the problem. It's like going to see a movie. Like you have this movie in your mind. It's like, it's going to be this. Maybe you read the book, whatever it is. It's going to be this, or you love the actor who's in it.
Every time.
And you fucking show up and it's not that.
That's me.
And this is what I think a lot of people were maybe thinking about when it came to, for me, this was a numbers thing. For me, it was like, how can we see heads in the street? Can we see heads in the street? Can we see actual representation? Do I love the organization of it? I probably don't. Like I don't know that I know enough about it to be really, truly worthy of an opinion beyond saying, look, I recognize that peaceful protesting right now is going to be a very important step toward getting this thing right. It's not going to last. And this is why I am encouraged by this. this isn't gonna stay friendly if things don't start to change. This is a warning. And this is what I don't think people understand. This is 7 million people saying, okay, we're gonna wear some suits, we're gonna have some fun right now. Y'all better start straightening out because shit's gonna get real, because you know what? I have better fucking things to do today than put this fucking dinosaur suit on and make a fucking fool out of myself to try to fucking make a point to you.
Every single revolutionary icon in American history that you can think about, they were radicalized at one point where they were interested and involved in politics, or they were just living their life and politics visited them. But there was a point of radicalization where they were like, oh shit, like we can't wait for change, or what we've been trying to do isn't working. I think everybody went through that. I think even Dr. King did that, where it was all about nonviolent protest. And then as he went on, he was like, no, we really need like a real movement. Like, I think that's near the end, he was really doing his,
so baby steps, we just
workers party.
We walk before we run.
Okay. Here's another one that I saved for you.
So I'm proud of those people. I'm proud of every single one of those 7 million people.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
U.S. students all over the country. Sorry, this is Dan Kervick again. Okay. U.S. students all over the country attempted to build a movement just as loud and big as the No Kings rallies. Do you remember when Biden was president last year? Do you remember all the college protests?
Okay. Yes, I do.
You do? Okay. U.S. students all over the country attempted to build a movement just as loud and big as the No Kings rally. It was ruthlessly stomped into the ground by college presidents and Zio business leaders and social terrorists with the help of the same politicians that are running No Kings. That's how this guy feels about it.
Well, I don't know how to react because I don't know anything about this.
I just think it's useful to consider what rallies look like in the U.S. in this current really fraught, super tense time, and what protests look like.
They're different things.
I understand, but there is one of them that actually challenges the powers that be enough that they attack back and want it to stop.
Yeah, but that's not where we're at right now. Like, thank God we're not there.
But I'm saying, even though they're peaceful protests.
Like, we don't need that right now.
Both of these were peaceful protests. One of them was ruthlessly stomped. They were both peaceful.
Listen, this rally was a rally before midterms. This is a rally to say, let's get out there, let's change this, let's get this fucker out there. We've had enough. He's No Kings. This rally, let me tell you something. If shenanigans,
let me tell you something.
If shenanigans goes down, if these midterms get sour, man, on these fucking people, don't expect dinosaurs and turtles. Don't expect that. This is why this is super encouraging.
Dinosaurs and frogs, Dale.
And okay,
it's frogs.
Okay, but here's the thing.
Frog costume.
Well, I saw a fucking turtle.
You did?
Yeah, I saw a turtle. There was a turtle. There was a dinosaur, a turtle, a frog, a fish.
I saw a unicorn. It was great.
A unicorn.
Okay, the last one I have for you. I was so excited to see this because I don't know if you know. Do you know who George Jackson was?
Jackson?
George Jackson.
George Jackson.
He's an activist, a civil rights icon.
I don't think I do. Does that disqualify me from disqualify me at all? Should I leave?
He is described on Goodreads. African-American left-wing activist, Marxist author, a member of the Black Panther Party, and co-founder of the Black Guerrilla Family. He achieved fame as one of the Soledad brothers and was later shot to death by guards in San Quentin.
Okay, wow.
Okay, George Jackson, he has contributed so much to this movement from prison. He was in prison when he was 17 years old. He stole $17 from a gas station. Yeah. And nobody got hurt.
Got thrown in life.
But because he had been doing petty crimes his whole, since he was a younger teenager, the judge decided to give him life in prison. Wow. And so that was his radicalization point where he was like, oh, shit, I'm in the belly of the beast. And so he did a ton of really incredible prison writings. And also he was a student of the civil rights movement. So when he was eventually killed by prison guards. But when they cleaned out his cell, somebody had logged all of the books he had. He had 99 books and there's a book list online of George Jackson's books. Wow. And if you read all of them, you would be the expert that he was. Well, I don't know that you would be, but you'd have a chance.
You could be the expert that he was, yeah.
Anyway, Soledad Brother is a book that he wrote. It's the Prison Letters of George Jackson, and that was really formative. And all of his work in the Black Panther Party and the Black Guerrilla Family happened in prison. So he was organizing behind bars. Anyway, this is a quote that somebody shared, and I think about this every time that somebody wants to stage a rally, the peaceful protest, you know? He said, this is from his book, Blood in My Eye. He said, the establishment does everything in its power to ensure that revolutionary rage is redirected into empty outlets, which provide pressure releases for desires that could become dangerous if allowed to progress. And that's what we see time and again. They're like, the establishment is like, let me just, don't worry. I see you got all that rage building up. Let me just take that off your shoulders. We're going to put it in this nice little activity you guys are going to do. And then you're going to feel so accomplished. And so
I don't know. I think people don't feel accomplished. See, I think we're at an unprecedented time. I don't think any of us actually know what the fuck is going on. I think we're at a totally unprecedented time. There's nothing we can really compare it to in American history. We have the most radical leader this country has ever known. He has completely rearranged the face of the United States to the entire world. Absolutely nobody looks at this country the same since Donald Trump has been president. So I don't think that Americans have been Also, I think that what Donald Trump did was he ripped off what was a very pretty Band-Aid, revealing a festering melanoma of humanity that I don't think people understood. I remember having an argument with a very light argument with a relative about all this. And the relative had brushed all of this off back when Trump got his first term as it's only 30% of the country. And I remember I just looked at her and I was like, you recognize that's close to 100 million people, right? You recognize that even if you cut that number in half, that's 45 million radicalized human beings.
Wait. This person said after he was elected,
it was
only 30% of the country. So that person is saying that he won the office that you're supposed to get through by majority.
No, but I don't want to focus on that. She was talking about.
Right, 30%?
I don't want to talk about that because that's not. The conversation was that certain people are going to always vote Republican. Certain people are going to vote in the middle. Certain people are going to vote for their wallet and not for their rights and all these other things. So we had already defined all that, and what we boiled down to is that about 30%, which is actually a little less. It's probably about 28% of the country.
Yeah, you're saying
is this far right? Right?
Yeah.
Well, that's fucking nearly 100. That's like 60. That's like 45, 50 million human bodies. That is bigger than most countries. That is bigger than Canada itself in terms of actual population and numbers. So to pretend that those people aren't, and so I think what Donald Trump did for us is that he ripped that real pretty Band-Aid off, and that pretty Band-Aid said, this is not a big deal. It's just a little mark on the big body of the United States. And when he took that fucking Band-Aid off, it was like, that's melanoma, buddy. That's a cancer.
Yeah, right.
We got to get a guy out here to dig this shit out.
Oh shit, that's going to spread to the rest of us.
That could fucking, that could go metastatic. How do you say that? Metastatic.
Would you like to hear from the chat?
Yeah, man. This topic sucks. I'm not going to lie. It just makes me feel icky, bro.
It makes you feel icky?
Yeah, it does. I'm excited to get onto the reviews just because it's so tense.
Here's the thing. This is the way I look at it, okay?
Yeah.
We are, for better or for worse, we're trapped, right? Or we choose to be in a choose your own adventure novel, okay? We have options still, right? They're going to start narrowing.
Yeah.
But...
Did you ever read one of those?
Yes, okay. I fucking love those. They're brilliant works of genius. Okay. In this choose your own adventure novel, anytime that you want to, expend the energy of turning your page, right? Just to pull the metaphor out as much as I can.
Yeah.
You get to choose how you're going to engage in this, right?
Yeah.
For instance, I'm choosing to do
maybe.
Right.
Hopefully.
Still, now you get to choose,
yes,
right?
Right now.
I mean, you always get to choose, right? Your options just narrow the further you go along.
Okay, yeah, run, hide, or fight and die.
I'm being a chicken shit, and I'm instead just choosing to read a lot and learn a lot and share some things, try and seed it covertly.
Yeah.
The sort of things that I'm learning, that maybe would help sort of broaden other people's perspective about it. Other people are choosing to go to something like the No Kings rally. Other people are organizing differently, I don't know how, because I'm not involved in that. But what I'm saying is everybody gets to choose. And I also get to criticize everybody's choices. And so do you.
Yeah.
And they get to criticize mine. I don't see it as a big uncomfortable thing. we get to game this out. Like, this is like a game that we're playing, and we get to figure out what the best way forward is and how we're going to win.
7 million people in the streets made me hopeful. And it made me hopeful that
it's definitely not fucking nothing. That's really amazing. It
made me hopeful that people are aware. You know, there's also a lot of in social media. There's a lot of people who, and like maybe they're fickle as fuck, and they're just like, I voted for you and you took away my stamps and I'm going to fuck you, bro. You know, there's those guys out there now and they're everywhere, you know, there's like farmers and all this other stuff. Now,
they're feeling
look, you throw them a quarter or whatever and they're like, all right, fine, we're good. You know, and who knows how quickly they flip back, but I always refer to these video games because they're really, really fun. And they actually taught me something about how maybe government looks at society, and they look at it like almost like a temperature or like a sound. When it starts to buzz too loudly in a bad way, they do things like build coliseums, right? Make pretty pictures, right? Like you said about rallying, putting a rally together. Okay, release it. You feel good? Calisthenics. All right, back to work, slaves. You know, so
yeah. Cosmic Urgency said, if anything, No King's accomplished cooling people down, which I think is the real point of it.
I don't believe that happened. I think what it did is it showed how angry.
A big release.
No, I think the water is getting hotter, not cooler. I don't think the water cooled off at all. I don't think that cools. You know, look, if you got a dog that needs to go for a run and you take it for a walk, it comes back anxious. Like, that dog didn't get run. That dog just went for a walk. That dog went out and just looked around the neighborhood and went, motherfucker, try.
No, it's true. Like, I'm not the only person sitting here being like, cool, what did that accomplish? Like, every single person that went to that rally was like, cool, what did that accomplish?
Right. You know? And look, what it needs to accomplish is what it was probably designed to do by the people who began to, form this rally in the first place, which is send a message that we're going to elect a new president. It's not going to be fucking you. It's viewed. And it should be viewed this way until the midterms. If the midterms show up real sketchy, bro. If the midterms show up where he's fucking marching in the streets, if there's clear interference in elections during these midterms, if we see shenanigans, expect to see a different 7 million people out there. Also expect to see more of the right coming in.
Here's the thing. This is what I feel like there is a real risk in cooling people off with things like a rally, right? The only risk that I see is that, like, we know historically that authoritarians take about 18 to 22 months, 18 to 24 maybe, to consolidate power.
Yeah.
And that began since January.
Yeah.
For this one.
Yep.
So if we're expecting to wait until the midterms, the
midterms are here, basically.
But do we know that that's not just waiting too long and allowing them to continue to do their dirty work?
Well, here's the problem with it. Here's the catch-22.
I don't have another solution. Like, I don't have another fucking option of what to do. But
well, let me just interject.
Is that what everybody's plan is?
Well, you can't do anything except have elections in a free country. Otherwise, you need to form a coup. You know, that's a totally different ballgame and a different problem. We're not at that problem yet. Pardon me. A coup. Pardon me. Please forgive me.
Oh, that's an interesting option.
God damn it.
I wonder even how that would go.
You know, let me tell you something about you robots. You're just bad people, bro. You just made it bad people. Hang on. We're getting spammed, Angela.
Okay.
Heavily by Artie Rob. Remove.
Jeremy Wright said, I had a friend of 18 years unfriend me yesterday. That's a fucking bummer, dude. Jeremy Wright said, because I called him out on the No Kings protest. He said peaceful protests are okay, then said they weren't allowed to protest. Needless to say, I had some thoughts. I think it's just it really fucking blows when people are so sensitive about these conversations. Like, what are we doing if we can't even have a difference of opinion when we're trying to figure out this new uncharted territory? None of us have ever been through anything like this before. In this country, we're all fucking brand new. It's just weird that somebody wouldn't have the grace, or give you the grace to disagree with them momentarily in a discussion about something that's brand new. Like, it's weird. Jeremy Wright was saying that their friend unfriended them.
I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, I mean, we're in these kinds of times. Well, listen, I hope that people like, and I'm speaking to myself as I speak to everybody else in this, when I say that I just hope people can like make room for the other person in the conversation.
Right.
We got to make room for the other person in the conversation if we're going to survive this thing, because this is This is, this has to be smarter than let's just run with our torches. Like that's what they did on January 6th. That was ridiculous. We saw how ridiculous it was. And we also, he has the American government, like for example, the district court, the circuit judges just gave Donald Trump permission to send his troops into, I forget which city it is. There was a city that was fighting him, and the courts, two of which were appointed by him, have let him, put the troops there. And, Delkit was talking about how it doesn't matter, bring the troops. It's, all they're going to see is this and all they're going to see is that. That's not the point, right? The point is that he's sending them. The point is that he's taking government, military, and he's putting them in democratic strongholds.
Did you hear this conspiracy theory? I don't know if this is true because apparently these ICE officers are given a salary, so I don't know if they have a quota. But apparently there's a conspiracy theory that could be not true, where they think that they have quotas of how many bodies to take, and that is why they will nab people who are citizens and then end up releasing them because they still have to make that quota, or else they'll get demoted or they won't get whatever bonus, fucking whatever. Okay, yeah. That's why they've been detaining people who they know are just going to get released as soon as they get processed because they're citizens. Well, what Delegate's pointing out is interesting. Says that San Francisco officials have stated that they want the National Guard in. They either want the National Guard for their own protection because they're worried about these federal agents, but it might be that some of these cities are also trying to confront their homeless population in the way that like one of the reason why Gavin Newsom is like persona non grata all of a sudden is because of the way he's dealt with the homeless issue in California. It might be that they're trying to be like, okay, well, if you guys,
and every other fucking politician in that state,
horrible. It's super inhumane, and it might be that they're like, okay, if you guys need a body count, right? Like if you guys need to go detain homeless people, isn't that horrific? It's just a conspiracy theory that I heard, but I was like, fuck, dude, that makes kind of sense. Like if everybody is just the most horrible person, which it kind of, it's questionable at this point, that would make a lot of sense. Apparently, Steve Miller owns like a bunch of stock or whatever you can own in prisons, and they have to fill them.
I believe he does. I heard that before. So,
I don't know. Have you heard anything like this?
Yeah, private jails, bro. It's big business in America. It's the most incarcerated
once you build them, you have to fill them.
Country in the world. It's the most incarcerated country in the world, I believe. Certainly amongst the free world, anyway. Yeah, so Stacey's using the same pom-poms I'm using. She's got my pom-poms. 5 million protests in June.
Said 5 million, the protest in June, 7 million this time. The next one will be even bigger. Yeah, exclamation point.
And by the way, it was Oregon who really set the stage for the way this thing ended up going. Because Oregon...
Portland with all their costumes?
Yeah, because Portland made fools out of this administration.
Oh my God, my favorite.
They made fools out of, what's her name? Nome? What's her name?
Yeah. Every time Kirsty Nome would show up at one of these events so that she could do like whatever fucking like
photo
social
ops.
Media video or whatever.
Yeah.
They kept playing the Benny Hill theme song behind her.
Yeah, exactly. I loved it.
Completely ruin her audio. It's so brilliant. It's such brilliant.
Delicate said they stopped Snap today. They stopped Snap today.
Yeah, people are gonna hurt.
And they're tearing down the White House to build a ballroom.
I know, that's such bad look.
That's just not a good look. Like, here's the thing about Americans, bro. You can lie to them like all politicians have for forever. You can lie directly to them, but you better hide your lies. And this is what this guy's not doing. And that's why I'm saying the midterms are everything.
That's why it has been really bewildering for me because I've been more or less involved in watching politics and, like I would attend like the town hall events or whatever. And this is the first time I've ever realized that all of the politicians have just dropped their masks. Like nobody's even trying anymore. Nobody's even pulling the facade.
No. I said Donald Trump ripped it off, bro. Nobody cares anymore. They can lie to your face because they know that their constituents follow them with a glaze over their eyes.
Here's the question.
They also know they can keep them in funnels.
I know, but here's the question that really kind of like, it doesn't keep me up at night, but like, I think about this a lot. And it's a curiosity because it doesn't make sense. What is it? Okay, if they've dropped the mask and now they've exposed themselves as being terrible people who don't care about anybody, what do the politicians expect to happen next? Are they expecting that things are just going to get worse? So there's no consequences?
I think they expect to continue working with gerrymandering and every other corrupt method to transform a democracy.
But you recognize that, like, it must be that they know something we don't, correct?
Yeah, I think they do.
Like,
I think
they know what's
do you
coming
think Mitch
the...
McConnell won his elections?
No.
His most recent election? Do you really believe he won that election?
No, of course not.
No.
I don't.
No.
That's just
a lot of Kentuckians don't either, you know.
But what? So they know what's coming next, and we don't. This is the jam.
Hang on, I'm being harassed again.
You're being harassed again.
Yeah.
Well, you know what to do about it.
I'd user on this channel.
She says, "Hey, cutie.
Yeah.
Check my bio." With the flame emoji.
She's
Are you
like,
sure?
She's like, there's only 29 people there. This guy needs some loving.
Hey, Dale, are you sure you don't want to check their bio? It's got a flame emoji. I bet it's hot.
It must be fire. Remove.
Dale did the funniest thing like 3 years ago, and I can't let it go. You were writing like a character. It's just too funny. That didn't know how to flirt. And so instead of biting their bottom lip, they bit their top one. And I still think it's the funniest. It's like definitely like the weirdest thing you could ever do.
It's like if I ever got to write for SNL, it would be the first thing I did.
Somebody
I'd be like,
was like trying
you
to
know
flirt?
how people bite their top lip sexually? Oh.
No, their bottom lip. Yeah.
They bite their bottom lip. What if they bit their top lip?
So it just looks like
so gross.
Like mule teeth.
It's like mule teeth.
Donkey teeth.
Yeah. You'd be like, oh, that's hot.
So this person came and flirted with you, and I just imagined you doing it.
Yeah. Sending them to the moon. Oh, Lord Jesus. All right. Well, listen.
Delicatessen said, not an ass in BioBot. Stacy wants to know, has anybody watched The Alabama Solution on HBO? I'm interested in watching that documentary, but I know it's going to make me angry and miserable.
I'll watch it with you.
There's some of those documentaries that I'm just like, I can't.
Let's make it this week's one of this week's documentaries, because we watch docs every week.
Yeah.
So speaking of which, shall we transition to the Blumhouse news that I've read? Yeah, Snap stops, and I'm terribly sad for people on Snap. And this country is a very dangerous place to live. I have no medical insurance. Do you?
I don't know.
I don't believe you do. I don't think so. I'm not paying for it.
Just hoping for the best.
Just winging it, bro. You know, just emergency rooms nearby, and you know. Oh yeah, lump. Hopefully it'll go down.
I guess I ought to learn how to splint a fracture.
I've always said that, you know, how you can, like the strongest argument, or the strongest proof, not argument, the strongest proof that healthcare, universal healthcare, is a human right is prisoners. It's prisoners. When you take into custody a prisoner, you have to take care of their health. You have to. The law requires prisons to provide reasonable medical care to every prisoner. Yeah. They do. We do not get the same privilege as prisoners because we are denied what prisoners cannot be denied in the custody of our government, which is
what you're talking
the basic
about
human right of healthcare.
You're saying idealistically, that's how it's supposed to go.
I'm saying that to me is empirical proof.
But I don't think that that's how it goes.
What do you mean?
Well, there's a lot of this documentary that Stacy was just recommending was about inhumane prison conditions.
Yeah, well, there's a different ballgame altogether. I'm not really referring to that. I wasn't actually referring to I didn't even know that. That's interesting, and I wanna watch that. Mm-hmm. And we'll watch it this week. We'll give it our tiny pineapples next week, but this week. But anyway, I'm just bringing up that it to me is empirical proof that the American government already knows that healthcare is something that ought to be provided by the government to all of its citizens, because they do that to their prisoners. Mm-hmm. And you wouldn't provide that to prisoners unless it's not a basic human right, because all prisoners get in this country are the basic human rights. They get food, they get shelter, they get water, and they get medical. Mm-hmm. So there it is. It's just right there. It's fucking boom. It's in your system already. It's proof that it's just a basic human right. And they deny that human right here in America because corporate America wants that to keep you in your jobs. That is why pre-existing conditions was such an amazing tool because it kept people in their jobs. My father-in-law wanted so desperately to move from one job to another. He was going to get a fucking promotion. He wouldn't take the job because he and his wife were diabetic. And if they jumped ship to another thing, this was before Obamacare, and that they finally ruled out or outlawed pre-existing conditions, right? Denying and so he wouldn't leave his job. He was enslaved by his job.
Insane.
Being tied to these things which we already know because the prison system has them as a basic human right. So anyway, it's such madness. We live in this madness, and we can only hope that there's some breakthrough at some point. It's probably not going to be in our lifetimes, but hey, you know. Hey, Dale, you seem alone. Check my bio. I don't know what's happening.
God. They're relentless tonight.
Well, I guess they're just seeing the numbers are down. I don't know. Like, my friends are here. That's all that matters. Let me see.
Lame emoji.
Man, you guys are really gross.
Oh, also, Cosmic Urgency ruined my party by saying that the Divine photo is photoshopped. It's brilliant anyway. I don't care.
Which one is this?
It's the photo of Divine who's
is it? Yeah.
Scowling at Donald Trump.
Well, that's a bummer. I loved it. I wanted it to be real too.
It can be real in your heart. It's real in my heart. Okay, listen.
Yeah.
I want to hear about Blumhouse. What happened?
I just read this article in Vulture today that just outlined how it's basically a fall from the top of his box office, and he's just not getting any margins now. Basically, his model is kind of collapsing inward on him, and I have some thoughts about why.
Oh, yeah?
Because I saw Blumhouse this weekend. I think it was called
a film distributed by Blumhouse.
No, produced by Blumhouse.
Okay.
It's produced by him. I mean, he was the producer. Jason Blum was the producer on the movie. It's called Black Phone. Called The Black Phone, I think. Based on the Joe Hill short story, right? The Black Phone. Okay. So can we just transition then into we didn't get to do our movies last week.
Do you want to put the
Oh yeah, let me just
Well, so what were you saying about Blumhouse? So he's just losing money, that's the headline?
So yeah, just this article is just like how like
it's weird. So these are horror movies because it's October. That's real bad news.
His Unstoppable. This is but there's it is. It's bad news. It really is. And he'll come back.
And you were saying you had some thoughts on it.
I do. Let me just you wanted to get the poster. Give me a second because we're trying to get the poster now. Give me. Unfortunately, I haven't set everything up the way it needs to be set up, and so I am. There it is. Let me do.
Like I said, I guess Angela is invisible to these bots.
I guess so. They don't realize.
They don't know that he's mine.
They don't
know that I claimed him.
What is going on?
Forget the poster.
Yeah, okay, I'm going to forget the poster for now. It's not that I can't. I just for some reason I can't get us on camera right now. I don't know why, so I'm just going to have to skip it. All right, listen. Black Phone.
No, you were saying you had some thoughts about this Blum is losing money.
This is my thought.
Okay.
I'm getting into it.
Okay.
It starts with the Black Phone.
Okay.
So I watched, or it's Black Phone. It's not the Black Phone. So watched the Black Phone this weekend.
The first one.
This first one. There's a second one coming. That's interesting in and of itself. Look, it felt very much like mass-produced. Like you ever see mass-produced books? You know what I'm talking about? Mass-produced paperbacks.
Yeah,
they're like smaller.
Mass market paperbacks.
Mass market. Thank you. That's what they're called. Mass market. I probably have one here somewhere.
You have a bunch. All of those up there. Stephen King's Tommy Knockers is.
These are mass. Yeah, these are all mass. So there's just they're very cheap. Yeah. You don't really know if they're gonna last or not. They get even more cheap than this when you get into but these little mass-produced products, and they're fine. I read Mary Shelley's Frankenstein right here. It was great, by the way. Very purpley. I don't know if you know that. Very purple prose. So anyway, that's what this movie felt like to me. This movie felt like a mass-produced product. It felt like a product that didn't have love in it. When I talk about how products come to life, I don't think this one ever did. I think this product was stuck together like Lego pieces, as opposed to with writing and with, great directing. And I thought the performances were quite good. I thought, Ethan Hawke was, the star of the show for sure. I mean, his performance was awesome. I thought he
plays a villain.
Fucking killer villain.
You liked him as a villain?
I thought he was amazing. Yeah, I thought he did an amazing job. I thought he played it really I thought he was beautiful. I thought he did a really, really great job. I think like if people aren't familiar with him as a, or only vaguely familiar with him, because, like younger people might be.
He was huge for Generation X.
Yeah, right? I mean, for us, he was massive. I mean, Reality Bites was,
Yeah.
But, now, so he's that kind of guy where people would be like, oh, fuck, it was him, Kind of remember like when Donnie Wahlberg did Sixth Sense and everyone was like, what the fuck, that was Donnie?
I didn't recognize him.
Yeah, who did? Nobody did. Donnie did. So, and by the way, Mason Timms was fucking great. Wonderful.
Yeah, the kid actor, the lead.
Yeah, the lead actor also happens to be the son of...
He's in the sequel too, and Cosmic Urgency said the Black Phone sequel is one of their biggest successes. It opened big this weekend.
Oh, good.
So what the fuck is Variety doing?
Vulture. Yeah.
What are they saying about that?
It's weird. I don't know. I haven't looked at the numbers on that phone, so I'll just take your word for it. But I'm just telling you that I think that Blumhouse has gone through this movie to me, this Black Phone, and I got a sequel, whatever. I thought it was poorly directed, to say the least. I thought it was fairly poorly written. I don't think the director I felt like it was two different directors, or maybe even more than that. It was as if this director didn't actually have his own or I don't even know. Is it a guy? I shouldn't even. I don't even know their name. I was literally completely not curious about the director at all because the work to me was so void of any love. A story I cut from my book. I went to the Hamptons after Don's Plum was going to be a massive success. We went to New York. That part's in the book. And then we went to the Hamptons, and I allude to that, but I actually wrote a huge scene of us going in to meet with this agent in the Hamptons at this guy's house, white picket fence house. And the director of The Crow 2 was at this director's house when we came in to meet with him and talk with, this was RD's agent, new agent at CAA. And I remember sitting with this guy. His name was Ted, not Ted Pope. What the heck was his name? It doesn't matter. Sitting there talking to this guy, and he's just miserable.
He's miserable?
Miserable.
Why?
He's in post with The Crow 2, and he's just hating his life. And he's complaining. And I'm like, I don't know what, I can't remember how the conversation evolved naturally to the moment where he said, you guys are so fucking lucky. You guys get to make art. I got to make this shit. Mm. And then he proceeded to have a short argument.
And he was talking about The Crow 2.
The Crow 2. And then he proceeded to have an argument with the agent, who's RD's new agent from CAA. They argue back and forth, and the agent's like, because he's basically saying, you fucking forced me into this payday. And now this is not, because I guess he knew already that the film wasn't doing great, coming out of post. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if you saw The Crow 2, but it was definitely inferior to The Crow 1 by a mile. And, at least in my opinion. And yeah, it wasn't like a great piece of work, it wasn't, something that was like, oh, it's a forgettable film, very forgettable film. So, I feel like that's where Blumhouse is maybe putting too much of their work in that field, in that world. In other words, where they're kind of turning into a regular fucking studio. And what a regular fruit studio does, they work with these directors that they already know to be great.
Yeah.
Instead of doing what he was doing originally, which was giving directors opportunities to make great films and be, lesser known or even completely unknown. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. So I wanted to bring this up. This is because you were talking about the director, Scott Derrickson. He's a dude. You were asking.
Mr. Derrickson. No disrespect, sir.
He's a writer-director.
Okay.
So I don't know if he's the sole writer because I'm just looking at his IMDb.
Yeah.
So he wrote The Exorcism of Emily Rose, which you liked.
I remember liking that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then he also wrote Sinister. I don't know if you remember. That was the movie with Ethan Hawke where there's a tree and the family that lived in the house before them hung themselves on the tree. No. The father hung the family in the tree. You remember that?
No.
There's it replays on home videos all the time. Ethan Hawke is obsessively watching home videos. You and I both thought that movie did too much. Like there were too many things that, like, in the third act they introduce a monster, which before it was like a paranormal entity. It didn't need to be an actual like monster in a mask.
Yeah.
So weird. I was like, what? All of a sudden I'm watching a different movie.
Yeah.
He did this. He wrote and directed Sinister and Sinister 2 with Ethan Hawke starring.
Yeah.
And then he did the Black Phone. He did the screenplay for the Black Phone and Black Phone 2. So I don't know because it's Joe Hill's material. But even in that one too, like with these, I felt like he was doing too much. Like the Ethan Hawke villain there was too many things. I also don't know why he has this thing where he has to have these like really strange looking masks. I think that there's this sort of horror director that feels like they need to have an iconic mask, that every monster has to have a different mask so that people can dress up as your specific monster for Halloween and everybody can recognize it.
It was weird that like he had that like weird, crazy reaction to when the mask came off too, remember? Like
like he didn't want like
it was like Phantom of the Paradise when his mask came off.
That's a spoiler though, so you have to be careful. Don't spoil Phantom of the Opera.
Phantom of the Paradise, Angela.
Okay. Have you said all you want to say about Black Phone?
So Black Phone to me was well, not entirely. Black Phone to me was mediocre at best. I felt like the story I could feel that it was that the underlying material didn't have a lot to it, that it had these telephone conversations.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I bet you the book's probably fun.
Yeah, I bet.
Because it's like these really cool kind of ideas of these conversations and this creepy sort of wall that has no cord rings and you're having conversations, and that's fucking cool. Especially when you can like suspend all disbelief and dive into the pages.
Yeah.
And not have to worry about, it being poorly directed or, poorly adapted in general. But I think that to me, it should be like, it's so funny because it's like, it's a big opening for him and that's great. But to me, the movie fell short, and I'm just wondering if budget, time. So, you got this guy who's got a pretty good resume.
Yeah.
Exorcist Emily Rose was
There's a bunch
a
of
movie
other
I
titles.
remember liking quite a bit.
There's a bunch of other titles.
But if you're forcing them, so the situation might be, and this is where we're speaking more about the model and less about the director, which is actually a good thing for the directors, and really something that I probably should have considered from the beginning. If you're trying to push these products through a hole too thin, too narrow, then maybe the work comes out a little shallow or narrow as well.
Yeah.
And then that's going to affect the box office because people are going to lose trust in that brand. They do. You lose trust in that brand. It's like, Blumhouse movies suck. That's, Roger Corman made so many bad movies that he could not get out of being a bad movie maker, even when he made a good one. He still had to deal with the fact that nobody trusted his work.
Right.
And I remember it well because I remember before it was cool to like Roger Corman.
Yeah.
I remember watching Roger Corman, as a kid and just being, what the fuck, bro? And like, I began recognizing that these Corman movies were garbage.
I actually felt the same way about
Mostly, obviously.
Peter Jackson, because I knew about Peter Jackson's early movies where he was doing like B horror movies, and they were bad.
Yeah.
Like you could tell that it was just him and his buddies having a good time, but he was not like trying to make like serious, marketable films.
Yeah.
He was just trying to see like how can we push the budget with our gore, And so I was just really amazed when he got Lord of the Rings, It started becoming this like humongous film director,
Well, I mean, Heavenly Creatures is why.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, that's why he got that. And
I didn't even know who had directed that. I heard about Peter Jackson being the director of Lord of the Rings, and I was like, wait, that Peter Jackson? You must be a different Peter Jackson.
Yeah, well, I mean, I knew immediately it was going to work because of Heavenly Creatures, because he did this. There was the
remarkable
movie
that he could become a serious director.
Fucking amazing movie. Did you see it? You must have. If you haven't, we'll watch it.
I missed it, but I know it's acclaimed.
Well, I'm glad. I'm gonna fucking love watching that with you because it is so good. It's totally not what you're probably gonna expect, and it's
Kate Winslet, right?
And Kate Winslet's in it. She's amazing, but even better is her counterpart, which I'm sadly don't remember her name, but it's fucking awesome.
Can we talk about Black Phone again?
Sure.
I was thinking that the whole way through, I was like, why are we doing this much? Like I know I said that before, but Like, for instance, the protagonist, the kid, he has a really violent home, okay?
Yeah.
But he also has a deceased mother. And he also has a father who is an alcoholic and is distant and incapable of being a good father. And he also has a father who is violent and abusive. And I was like, why do we need all these things? Like, why? There were so many scenes
Pick a lane.
Yeah, well, there were so many scenes where I was like, oh, okay, cool. This is like an entire long, drawn-out scene where I'm watching a child be beaten. And I don't know what that is supposed to help me with understanding this story and why this situation is, like, I didn't know how it was informing the protagonist's journey.
It's so tough though,
weird.
You hand in a script.
It never got picked up. So say that you're a protagonist, right, in a film, right? You're like the kid whose sister is being relentlessly beaten at home, and you are being held captive by your captor, and you're trying to get back to your sister because she's being relentlessly beaten, and she relies on you to protect her. That would have been cool. That wasn't the story. That wasn't the story. None of that actually happened. None of that usefulness for the protagonist's character and the protagonist's like goals and resolve to free himself and get back home was ever articulated. It was only that the sister got beaten. That's it. So I don't understand what screenwriters are doing when they're just like, yeah, let's show the audience a kid getting their ass kicked for no fucking reason. And there's an actor that they cast as the father, who's an actor that you and I both love to hate ever since we saw him on Lost. His name's Jeremy Davies, and I honestly, I don't
understand why.
He's great. He's a really good actor, but he cannot use volume.
He won't talk any louder than this.
He whispers all of his dialogue.
He looks at you and he says, I don't know why you're doing this to me, but it's making me mad. Like it's infuriating.
He'll talk to someone across the room, and I'm watching, and I'll be like, there's no way they heard that. I didn't hear it in this movie.
I wonder if he just has really bad breath. Like, you got
bad breath.
You got to get close in Hollywood, and like maybe he just started and he was like
one rotten tooth.
He was like, yeah, like he was like about to go in his audition, and somebody was like, damn, bro, you got any fucking certs or some shit? And he's like, what? No. Certs. And then he went in and he was like doing a like face to face with someone. He was like trying to keep it. He's like, he didn't want to breathe on him, so he was like, hey man, yeah. And they were like, fuck,
casting director was like, I love it.
That was intense, man. You drew me all the way in. Did I? Well, you can come out now. I can't really right now because I got a rotten fucking tooth.
I don't know, man. If you ever saw the later seasons of Lost, you'd know who I'm talking about. He's just in this movie though, especially, it was really hilarious.
At the end,
he's scolding his kid, and he says something really mean to him, and he says it so low under his breath, like I really sincerely could not hear it. And then he said louder. He was like, "You hear that?"
Yeah, and then he yelled, you
heard me or something? And I was like, no, nobody fucking heard you. It was so weird. Anyway, those are my notes about it. Everything else I thought was pretty cool. I didn't like the mask. I thought the mask was really fucking stupid. And then it had all these variations that was never explained. Like, you never see that.
Yeah, it was very elaborate.
There's a lot of classic horror films where if the killer has an elaborate mask, you see them craft it, or you see them pick it up someplace, or you see them how they create it. It's like super spooky. There's like lore about their mask. In this, they just like got an amazing looking, well-crafted mask.
I mean, there wasn't much lore. Was there lore in the Scream mask?
I'm not talking about the Scream mask because I think that was a bullshit mask too.
Oh, sorry. It was a fucking satire, but okay.
No, it looked like a fucking joke. What I'm talking about is like Jason, right?
Yes.
Scary mask, normal item.
Right.
It's super scary. It's
trying to cover his hideous face.
Yeah.
Trying to make himself more presentable.
And then, like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, obviously it's made of fucking human skin, like super, super crazy, like that's awfully scary. There's a bunch of others. Anyway, we don't have to go into it.
I like the way you said that. That's awfully scary.
It's awfully scary. I just feel like these days they just have a mask that some well-paid, hopefully well-paid craftsman in the film studio like gets the order to make a cool ornate mask, and they go through a bunch of like trials with the director, and they're like, yep, that's the one, but it has no lore, and I'm frustrated by it.
I'm gonna still give it.
I'm sick of these masks.
I'm still gonna give it 3 tiny pineapples. I'm just gonna say that it's very like low 3 tiny pineapples.
Me too. It's supremely watchable, very confusing.
Supremely watchable is very odd.
Horror movies get more pineapples than other movies.
In the genre, I give them more latitude. An art house that gets 3 stars might be a much better movie than this one.
I think it doesn't take much for a horror movie to be fun. And I had fun watching this. I don't think it's great, but
I was disappointed. So
I also wanted to say that I thought that the lead character, I mean, that kid, Mason Thames, I thought he was really good, but all the other child actors kind of sucked. They were like, I'm reading my lines very emphatically, just like I practiced them.
Yeah, it's true. It wasn't great. Oh my God. I was looking up, I just had thumbnails up for Kiss, the band, because I was, Ace Frehley had passed.
Yeah.
And the top row is the band. And then the second row is all these close-ups of people kissing. And I was like, Jesus, because it's like giant lips touching. Looks like smashing.
I never knew this about you. You don't like kissing?
No, I love it. It's wonderful. I just wasn't expecting it.
I was like, oh my God, this whole time was I just like offending you? Can you imagine? Can you imagine if it came out in like couples therapy? Well, see, the problem with us is that I don't like kissing. And like, your wife has never heard.
Okay, so the next movie is Heretic.
Oh, yeah. Well, so I wanted to design I love double features. I like to curate double features. It's like one of my favorite things to do. So I was like, okay, well, we wanted to watch Black Phone because it's got a sequel out. And I was like, okay, well, this is obviously a story about how a middle-aged guy who's crazy owns a home, which is unique, okay? Because who among us gets to do that? He owns a home, even though he's crazy and doesn't have a job. And he takes a captive, and he makes the captive perform some sort of game or riddle or whatever that the captive has to figure out. And both of these movies are the same exact premise. the subgenre of horror film.
It's weird,
Crazy middle-aged white guy owns a home and takes a captive.
I guess it's
and
like
plays a game.
I think this is true probably for like romance and shit, where it's just basically like templated stuff. Basically, you just like write it into. There are several templates. Mm-hmm. It says like how like man versus world and
right, the different conflicts.
Monster movie, blah blah, yeah. So anyway, Heretic. What'd you think?
Which was way better.
Yeah.
IMO.
Much more polished.
But it also did too much.
It did a lot. It was much better directed.
Yeah. I thought it was wonderful until the third act. I thought it was really, really great. It was super tense. There's two actors who are being drawn into this trap, and they are Mormon missionaries who visited this guy's house and got invited in. And they're talking about religion, which is part of his sick game. Okay. But those two actresses, they did so well. I thought both of them were really great.
It was great. I'm with you. I was on the ride all the way to the third act, and then it kind of fell apart. But I was still like, I had such a good time going up to that point, because I thought that Hugh Grant was great villain.
Yeah. That's another thing is like Gen X heartthrobs turned villains. It's another horror subgenre that this.
I got to tell you, man, when in the 80s or 90s, during which he reigned supreme, I was like, what? Heartthrob? How? I never understood it. And now as a villain, I'm like, I get this version of you. Let's go.
His agents worked really hard. Is all I got to say.
Heretic. I give Heretic like 3.5 on the Richter. Yeah, because I thought that, again, it's, latitude to the genre, but I thought that it was mostly a great ride.
Yeah, the third act ruined it for me. It was going to be a 4-star solid, but I gave it 3. Tiny pineapples.
You went 3, yeah.
Because it falls apart. It's very cool how it's like do they call those puzzle box mysteries? Where you're like, I have to learn what that is. I think that means like you're like in a house, you're a captive, and you have to figure it out. I read like all these fucking writing books and then I forgot all that shit. But finally, when there's like, when the final, like the game is explained in the end, right?
Yes.
It makes no goddamn sense. And everything that came before it makes no sense. So I don't know that they figured out how to write their way to a conclusion. They just decided to do something weird with it.
Chat is dead. Do we have anybody here? Let me check. Oh yeah, we do. Hi guys. I guess they're just riveted.
Cosmic Urgency said you thought the sisters' acting was bad. I thought the two girls in Heretics acting was excellent. I thought it was awesome. I thought they did really great.
Am I missing some chats? Oh, I am missing chats. Oh my God. I had it on top chat, not live chat. Let me see. Black Phone. The girls. I thought the girls were good. Yeah. He thought they were bad?
That's the question. Yeah, they were great. Hugh Grant was great.
No, I thought the girls were great. I thought they were really, really great, actually.
Solid 3 stars. don't expect much from the ending.
I genuinely enjoyed that movie until the ending.
The third act.
And then after that, I was fine too. It was like a Stephen King book, you know. I was like, yeah, dude, that was a good ride. You know, you could have finished it, but you didn't. That's cool. Whatever. Next time. Get me next time. But I'm in for another ride.
I will spoil just a little bit. There's this trick with the blueberry pie, right? Where he is keeping them longer in his trap with the promise of blueberry pie. And then she discovers that the blueberry pie promise was false. But then in the third act, there is a blueberry pie.
Yeah, that just...
And I was like, you can't do that.
Yeah, don't bring the fucking pie.
That's a rule.
Yeah, the candle... Stop. We're going to give away too many fucking spoilers.
We also saw documentaries.
Well, yeah, now this is where I think I just would like to get to my favorite documentary if we could.
Let's go to the John Candy, I Like Me first.
Okay. Spoiler.
It's not your favorite documentary.
Let me tell you what. John Candy, I Like Me. I liked it. I love John Candy.
Who everybody loves John Candy.
The documentary, in some kind of strange way, I would say, you know, it was he's so fucking amazing as a human being. Like that the world got to be around John Candy, that we had John Candy in the world for the short time that we did, and it was as if he knew, you know. And obviously, his dad had died already. Early in his life.
Did you know that before you watched this documentary?
I did. I did. I also knew that his brother almost died, because that all came out when he died. So
I didn't know any of that. I had no idea that his father also died at a young age of a heart attack.
Of a heart attack, and his brother nearly died of a heart attack. Yeah. And this all came out when he died. That's when I was reminded of it, but I do remember now that being a storyline. So, you know, obviously he had a genetic disposition to this disorder, this illness.
A bum ticker.
Additionally, you know, the guy also, you know, ate a lot of his problems. He partied, you know, hard enough to also probably exacerbate the obesity that was slowly killing him. John Candy he's just so fucking wonderful. The documentary, to me, it's so interesting. I feel like I have to score it in multiple levels to give it a fair score. So I will say this about this documentary. I believe that it's well worth seeing. I also believe that if you do decide to see it, you may, like me, find that it's not very well directed. That's probably not very well produced. That I felt like it's almost like, I don't want to like be too harsh on the filmmakers, but I just want to say this was a golden opportunity.
Yep.
This was like you were given gold and you made a basket out of it.
Well, it's just like you're already halfway to the finish line of being awesome just because you have archival footage and a bunch of movie scenes of John Candy, who everybody loves. So the job to compile all of that and create a narrative is the only job. But it's not like anything you show us of John Candy is going to be delightful. Do you know what I mean?
What's up, Lorenzo? Exactly. So for me, and I just want to, there's a couple of things I want to talk about because I found a bunch of things going on. One of the things I found going on with this whole John Candy documentary was it made me wonder if, you know, now look, his children talked about how like he could get angry and that he could show his anger. Like he was apparently a harsh anger guy. Like, you know, he had his angry side, you know?
I don't know. Angry, frustrated probably is.
There was a word. One of them used the word anger. Spoke strictly to saying like he was the most beautiful guy, but we never wanted to see him angry because when he was angry, he was as intense angry, basically as he was, you know, meek and kindred and kind. And so, and why I'm saying that is because it sounded like, by their description of it, that John Candy, he didn't
Johnny.
Johnny.
Friends call him.
Yeah, Candy as what's his name would call him. Anyway,
Dan Aykroyd.
Yeah. So
Murray.
John Candy, I think he kept a lot of shit inside, bro. I think he ate a lot, and I'm not. When I say ate, I wasn't even referring to him actually consuming food.
No, but just holding on to.
Yeah, just he like really harbored.
Yeah.
A lot of pain. the pain that he got from, I think he harbored pain from the death of his father through his, and I think that's fairly
I thought that
apparent.
was well presented.
Yeah, me too.
In the documentary.
Yeah, exactly. So
my thing about the documentary is I just thought it was a mess. Like the sequence of storytelling, you know, like you can choose to make a documentary that's like chronological.
Yeah.
Right. Where you're like, okay, first he was born, then this happened, and then he, you know, fledgling career, and then his big career. Like
it all started on the farm of 1829.
I think that if you're gonna do something risky by making a documentary that's non-linear, you have to make sure that your pacing is excellent and you're very clear about the emotional journey. Like it was really weird that they opened up very emotional and then did something very funny and then like did something very emotional and then more funny, and then it just seemed like I was being like whiplashed. And I don't know why they chose to not just build these emotions more naturally. It seemed like a really, really strange cobbling together of a story rather than like an articulated, you know, like well-planned, I don't know. It seemed rushed to me. I don't know why they presented it that way. I thought that I guess it's the directing, not the editing. But I was like, why is it edited this way? And another thing too, you said poor producing. I noticed there were sound issues. Like some of the interviews were really loud, and others were low volume. And I was like, why would that happen?
Yeah, I did. I also had some issues with the mix, but so I'm kind of glad you bring that up because there were some technical issues. There was my biggest gripes with this show was the editing. The editing was, to me, it just didn't know what it was. They had no identity. And then they didn't know, you know.
Are you with me though about like how it was like an emotional roller coaster, but not in like a good way?
Yeah, I was just about to speak to it. Like they opened up with the funeral. Like why? Like we all know the ending.
They opened and closed with the funeral.
Well, I know. I'm saying.
Why didn't they just save it for the end?
I'm just saying we all know the ending.
Yeah.
So why give us the ending when there's no cliffhanger here. Mm-hmm. There's no like, oh, what? He died? Let's hear about how that happened. I've never seen that before. We know he died. We know he died of morbid obesity, right? Or a heart attack, and as a result of his morbid obesity. So we know we know all this. So why wouldn't you start making us laugh? Why wouldn't you start with us falling back in love with that man that we adored so much back in the day?
It's so strange.
So instead they try to open up with that, and then that just takes you right out into this whole different space where you're already beginning in this melancholic idea of where we're supposed to go back. And I feel like this was sort of like a misguided idea of how can we get them feeling the tears right away. We want them to feel the tears, you know, like relax, man. Let the feeling build.
That was one of my hugest criticisms of opening with the funeral. Is I was like, okay, well, I haven't built up the sadness that you guys could. You could really hit it home.
Rebuilt the sadness for me, but yeah.
If you allow me to like build up emotional connection to this guy through your documentary, and then you hit me with the fucking super sad part, you know, you're gonna get much better payoff. But
also, again, it's just like, you know, like why open up with the sinking of the Titanic when I know the Titanic's going to sink?
Yeah, or like why open up a documentary on a sad note when you're like, I'm not sitting here to watch
something sad. I'm saying, bro, we already know. We know we're going to have our hearts broken. We know he's gone. We know he died early. We know he left children. We know he left a wife. You know, we knew he was philanthropic. We knew that he was altruistic. We know all these things about him already. We just wanted to get reacquainted with him. We wanted to fall back in love with all of his fucking comedy. We wanted to understand the parts of him that we could never have access to. And then we wanted to say goodbye again. We wanted to grieve for just one more moment. Grieve this man so that we could love him again. One more time. And I did. I did grieve him again. I cried in the end. I loved him again. But Colin Hanks, I don't think he directed a good movie.
Yeah.
And Ryan Reynolds, I don't think he produced a good movie. And I wish I were saying something different because I felt like they had gold in their hands. And I don't think that they made anything nearly as beautiful as it could have been. And, you know, I just wish I could have been in the editing room. I really do. I wish I could have been in the conversation. Because, I could already see, you know, how, like I talked about how April Apocalypse, they came and they were like, hey, you know, show this movie, what would you do? And we're like, well, I would do this. And I just came up with, RD and I just came up with a whole plan on how to, you know, recut the movie. I would have a plan to recut this movie.
Yeah.
In a hurry. And I think I would kick fucking ass.
I would too. I think that that's the only issue. I thought it was wonderful otherwise. I thought that the interviews were really great. There was one thing, I think there was a portion of an interview with Bill Murray where I was like, why'd they include that? Like it was just kind of like a
there's a couple of those, yeah. And Eugene Levy was amazing in it. Dan Aykroyd. First of all, there's a couple. This thing's worth seeing just to hear Dan Aykroyd's exquisitely written eulogy.
Oh yeah.
And then also to hear and watch Catherine O'Hara's exquisite, eulogy that she gave at the funeral. It was just fucking absolutely incredible. And to have, man, I gotta tell you, man. So some of the interesting things. This movie inspired me in a lot of ways, or John Candy once again inspired me in so many different ways, because I think that he was always conscientiously aware of how he wanted the world to know him. And I think I am terribly unaware of how I want the world to know me. Like I want the world to love me, and yet I allow a lot of like the damage that I've been through to come through. And sometimes I'll pull back from it. I'll be like, man, like, there's you can get to a threshold of it and you can step away. And
what you need to do is buy a sports team.
I was watching.
That's what other Canadians do. John Candy bought a sports team. Ryan Reynolds bought a sports team.
That was his heartbreak.
Do you think
Ryan
Reynolds bought a sports team because John Candy bought a sports team? Do you think he was like, I'm going to do the Candy thing?
Maybe.
You should just do the Canadian thing, bro.
Well, anyway, I was trying to tell a heartfelt story, but
Did I ruin it?
I'm inspired by the story. I'm inspired to, I felt like it helped me grow. I love being 55 years old, watching a movie about one of my old heroes, and that hero teaching me even more today than he did when he was alive and thriving. And so I felt really moved by that. I felt changed in a little, I grabbed onto concepts that I hadn't grabbed onto before in terms of being able to manage my own grief in life. John Candy never had it easy, dude. Like he lost his dad, and he also, remember, like this guy grew up fat. This guy grew up, obese. Mm-hmm. He grew up with no desire to change that. He was like, I'm okay with the body I'm in. So he wasn't in this like awful place of like, oh, I need to change so that people will understand me better. And in fact, he probably ended up being that more comedic self and that more gregarious, maybe even party animal guy in school or whatever it might have been, in order to be able to overcome his physical. Well, I think it's alluded to. No, I think it's alluded to. I don't think that it's something tattooed in the documentary itself, because I think only he could really answer that. But this would be the inference based on what we've learned, in the interviews and so on, because he ended up obviously overcome. We know that he was insecure. What the documentary, not just insecure, but that he was feeling great pain. Like probably some of the saddest footage in the documentary is when he is being confronted by interviewers. So funny, like fucking, you wonder why these guys, why actors,
celebrities don't want to do interviews?
Celebrities hate fucking being interviewed. Like we just don't know the half of the questions they fucking actually get. And it's a part of why, they come with these strict rules now. Like, hey, this is what you're going to ask, or this motherfucker's going to walk and you'll never talk to him again. Because he was basically badgered about his weight by interviewers and in live situations, like live morning TV and this kind of thing, these kinds of settings. Very upsetting.
How many tiny pineapples do you give for this documentary?
I'm going to give this a very enthusiastic 3 tiny pineapples. I think everybody should see it because he's beautiful. Mm-hmm. He's wonderful. There's things you're going to learn. It's worth seeing. I can't turn my head on the critical failure that it is. It just didn't rise to the occasion, artistically, in my opinion, at all.
I completely agree. 3 tiny pineapples for me, and all of the demerits are because of the directing and producing.
Wow, dude, we're just you and me, bad. We're just like fucking, sometimes.
We're samesies.
Yeah, we're samesies today.
This time.
All right, we got another documentary. So go see that movie, or go see that movie. Watch that movie on Prime. It's fucking worth it. The second half of the movie far outweighs the first half of the movie.
Okay, so this next one, I'm so glad to see everybody talking about this. This is a crime documentary, a true crime documentary titled Perfect Neighbor. on Netflix, and it is rough. It is a rough story. I was actually really troubled watching this because I didn't know anything about the story of the making of the documentary. And there's a part like, okay, so I consume a lot of true crime content, right? Like, because I'm interested in criminal trials, I'm interested in criminals, I'm interested in like forensic psychology, all that kind of stuff. But sometimes there's a part where the directors seem to want to divert into like grief porn, where they spend a lot of time talking to the victim's family and just sort of like featuring and really like kind of needling them about their grief. And that always seems really uncomfortable to me. It seems like it sort of violates the person's autonomy to be able to express themselves in a way that is dignified. And ultimately it just turns their grief into entertainment. And that always gives me the creeps. I don't like that sort of feeling at all. I feel like it's like unpleasant. What are you doing?
I'm working with levels. Go ahead.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Did you fix it?
I did. Mind your business.
Okay. There is a lot of like grief porn type things that happen in this documentary.
Well,
especially involving children. And I changed my mind about that because I learned about the director. So the director of this movie is very close to the victims.
Well, yeah, let me give my summary if I may. Can I?
You don't want me to just finish what I'm saying?
Yes.
So the victim in this crime documentary is Ajika Owens. Her friends and family call her AJ. And she is the best friend of the sister-in-law of the director. So the director evidently heard a horrible story from her sister-in-law.
Well, it was national news.
My best friend was murdered. And this director is a documentarian. Like, it has a long resume. And so I was like, okay, well, this person has close personal contact. And then after the crime was invited by the family to participate in, was invited by the family to participate in all of the legal proceedings. So they had access. It wasn't just exploitative. And so I changed my mind about this documentary. And I wanted to offer that just in case other people didn't know that when they go in. I think it's important context to recognize that the documentary filmmaker was working closely with the people involved.
My turn?
Yeah.
I think that Perfect Neighbor was one of the best documentaries I've seen in a very, very long time. It was one of the most beautifully directed documentaries that I've ever seen. It goes up there to me with, like, in terms of direction, it's up there in terms of riveting. It's as riveting as Fog of War. It's as riveting, it's as engaging as Hoop Dreams. It is, but it's disturbing, obviously,
so
the
disturbing.
content. It's an absolutely disturbing, but it isn't in the sense that, look, we all know about Emmett Till. We all know that his mother put his body on display, put that body out for people to see because she wanted the world to see what they had done to her boy. They wanted that you're going to look at this, and you know, if you've seen the pictures, I looked at them because she wanted me to. I looked at them, and they're life changing. When you know, if you try to imagine standing in front of this corpse as a human being and observing what the hatred that gets transformed into this, it's just the most disturbing thing. And so this director, I think, exquisitely did what they could, or what Mrs. Till would have done in the same situation. There was no, to me, grief porn. I didn't even see it as I understand why you might have and why others might as well. But for me, I knew immediately, first of all, I knew as a filmmaker that those faces weren't blurred, so that I knew that there was a relationship with the victim. There's no way that those kids' faces wouldn't have been blurred otherwise. So I already knew I had this an advantage, you could say, because I already knew then that technically speaking that I knew where it was coming from. I knew that it was coming from the victim side of the story, and not just like somebody trying to exploit necessarily just an opportunity, right? To tell a story that is a true crime story that is riveting and horrible. But, you know, not to digress too far from where I want to be, which is exquisitely directed. What I loved most about the direction of this movie is that most movies are directed Most of these movies are directed with a narration, some kind of narrator, and there is no narrator.
It's so amazing.
The story itself is narrated by body cam footage, by news camera footage, and there's literally not a single word uttered by anybody that isn't an actor in the fucking story. It is so perfect in that way and so difficult to do. The kind of craftsmanship that is required as a documentary filmmaker, one of the things that make great documentary filmmakers is how true they are to the material. Not just what you see, but the material, the underlying material that they had to bring up, that they had to conjure up and create into a movie that was compelling. And what makes great documentaries is how deep that goes. And how deep that goes is how many fucking minutes, did you watch of the footage, right? Was it thousands of minutes? How many body cam footages did they go through to be able to put this seamless act together? How many books did you read? This is what makes great documentary filmmaking. You can tell that this documentary filmmaker took every fucking word serious, like it was to this person's soul. Like it was this woman, a part of this woman's soul was going to be put on display, or a part of this man's soul. Is it a man?
The director?
Yeah.
No, it's a woman.
It's a woman, yeah. So a part of this woman's soul, what's her name?
Her name is hard to pronounce. Geeta Gandbir.
Geeta Vandbeer.
I don't know if I'm pronouncing that last name right. There's a lot of letters that seem maybe are silent, maybe not.
This documentary should win, everything. It's just such
it really should.
A fucking brilliant documentary.
Massive achievement.
It's perfectly made. It tells the story exquisitely. It shows you. It brings us together in ways.
It's not just a story about a victim and a perpetrator. It's also a real great example of the legal confrontation that the community has against this law, the Stand Your Ground law in Florida. And it's one of the most excellently well done portrayals of that, where it's like, here's an example of how this shit does not fucking work.
Yeah, I mean, what I was going to say was that it brings us together. Like it actually, so here's a situation where it's like the most divisive thing you could possibly imagine. It's literally like a hate crime. And so we watch this hate crime as it unfolds in like real-time camera. And this filmmaker exquisitely braids in an integration of humanity that we all need to see to know and feel assured that there is some kind of light at the end of this very, very, very dark tunnel.
I brought this to I saved this for you. Mississippi Queen username said this on Facebook today, said, what blows my mind about this lady, talking about the lady who is the offender in this crime show. Okay.
Yeah.
What blows my mind about this lady is that this happened in Florida, where there are so many 55 plus communities available. She could have had her choice of any of them and had exactly what she wanted, which was silence and no kids playing.
And probably white people.
Yeah. Right. But now, and I thought this when I was watching it, this lady wanted so badly to be isolated from her neighbors, right? This whole time that she's on the offensive with her neighbors because she wants to be left alone. Well, now she's in a prison where she's never left alone. Yeah. But at least she doesn't have kids around. Yeah. I was like, wow, she really manifested that for herself. She got exactly what she wanted, life in prison.
Yeah. So,
I mean, I guess that's a massive spoiler, but you got to imagine that's what's going to happen.
Yeah. I mean, look, this is a very special movie. I think everyone should watch it. I especially think that young, aspiring, or forget young. By young, I really mean like whether or not you're a wildly experienced filmmaker, regardless of your age. But, sort of baby filmmakers or just every filmmaker in the fucking world needs to watch this frame by frame. I mean, it is absolutely...
It's an incredible
achievement. It's a masterstroke of writing, unscripted. It's fucking... Man, I'm telling you, this is like a next level achievement.
So how many tiny pineapples?
It's a 5 for me. I'm going to give it 5
pineapples?
This is my first 5 tiny pineapple, I think.
Ding, ding, ding.
It's a big one for me, but I'm going to give it 5. I what was wild about it was how riveted I was. I could not, it's an absolutely horrific story that I could not look away from. It's that car accident you can't turn your head from. And it also becomes a story that I became very invested in and that I cared about. Mm-hmm. I cared about the outcome desperately. Like it's one of those movies where at the end and you're like, come on, I fucking want it. You give it to me, baby. And then they give it to you and you celebrate. So it's just great. My kind of filmmaking all the way.
I too give it 5 tiny pineapples.
Yeah, hey, look at us, dude. We are gonna have a slow dance.
Were you gonna slow down?
I'm gonna slow dance with you.
Well, I just learned that you hate kissing. So
I don't hate kissing. I didn't say that. I just said that's not true.
I'll keep my mouth clamped.
No, that's not true.
I thought that was a nice little succinct review of all of our films, our 4 films. I can't imagine that it's interesting for people. Do you think that it's boring?
Well, the chat is dead.
I love talking about movies and reviewing movies and sharing that with people, but
I don't think I want to stop. I guess, I don't know. I'm not really chasing ratings. I don't want to chase people away. I want people to enjoy this time we spent together. And you want me to put up a poll?
Okay. So Perfect Neighbor, watch it.
Yeah.
Okay. John Candy, I Like Me documentary.
Watch it.
Watch it?
Yeah.
Okay. Heretic, horror film.
Heretic, watch it.
Watch it?
Yeah.
What about the Black Phone, horror film for the first one?
Listen, if you consume genre, like Cosmic Urgency liked it, which isn't surprising. He has good taste, but he also has, an acquired taste. And this falls in acquired taste for me. It does.
Do you say watch it or not watch it?
Not watch it.
Not watch it.
I would pass. I mean, look, I don't want to say not watch it because like we got a friend of the family in here. So I would say watch it because we got a friend of the family.
Do we?
Yeah.
Is that true?
Yeah, Lisa Tim's kid, isn't it?
That's her kid?
That's her kid, isn't it?
Where is she? Is she here tonight?
If it's Lisa Tim's kid, watch it. If it's not Lisa Tim's kid, don't watch it.
Is it the same last name?
I'm not even. I say watch it. Watch it. It's not a fucking terrible movie. If you like genre film, if you like genre movies and you like
genre film meaning horror movies,
like horror films.
Yeah.
You like getting into the genres, then get into it because it's definitely not like the worst horror film movie I've seen.
When you say genre film, do you is that just
genre filmmaking for me is horror film?
But it's not sci-fi.
No, sci-fi. I'd say sci-fi. But
so why don't they just say horror film?
Let us not split the hairs.
I want to split. Excuse me.
I don't have any hairs.
Am the resident hair splitter. I think we both recognize that, for better or for worse. So when people say genre film, they just mean horror films?
Yes.
Always? Or just you?
I thought so. I don't know. I don't speak for the world.
Sure you do.
No, I speak at it.
Speak at it. Delicate gave us breaking news.
Yes, I saw this.
Breaking news in U.S. politics.
Yes.
The Arizona Attorney General has filed a lawsuit against Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House.
Yeah, they don't have representation,
for failing to seat the representative from Arizona.
They don't have fucking representation.
Yeah, it's funny because when I lived in Washington, D.C. for a few years. I can't even remember. But
here come the Epstein files.
Washington, D.C. has a real big problem. They even have it printed on their license plates that they have that they have a taxation without representation.
Yes, they do. They just don't have enough people to overthrow the king.
Well, it's just fucked up that they don't get to have at least throw them one representative. Then they wouldn't have this problem.
Well, they should have two. They should have two. I guess
it's a
Congress,
massive. It's a hugely populous city, and they literally have no representation in government.
They need 2 senators.
No, it's not a state. They don't need to be a state. They just need a representative. That's all they want. That's all they're asking for.
Okay.
The representative from the District of Columbia.
That is breaking news. I'm so excited. I hope that
it's fucking about time,
that branch of government will take care of the other branch of government, so that branch of government can take care of the other branch of government.
Yeah, right. A little checks and balances here, please.
That would be some really nice shit. But what I'm really most excited about is give me them Epstein files, baby, so I can point my finger and say, "Told you so." I want it. And everybody does. That's the coolest thing about the situation that we're in. And that's why the peaceful protest is a better idea. And the change has to come in the way that we're voting. The problem is so much deeper than taking to the streets because what we have is a system that doesn't support change. Because we have this gerrymandering and we have, and we have the lobby, we have, super PACs. So when you have this corruption, it's just, it's fucking practically impossible for the citizens to escape. So the first preservation has to be the vote. The first preservation has to be choosing we have to learn how to be able to choose together the best candidate, not the best, not the party. And that goes for Democrats too. And, but we just don't have that. And we have such deep level. Oh God, it just feels so hopeless, doesn't it? As soon as you start talking about it, you're like, Because, I start thinking about
know.
Nancy Pelosi, and that chick is like as corrupt as they come.
I know, of course.
And I start thinking about the Clintons. Please, I bet you that when the Epstein files come out, we'll learn that Bill Clinton was one of the most frequent visitors of that island.
I can't find the actual quote. I've seen the video a bunch of times, but it was Representative Thomas Massey. He spoke into the record at one of these hearings. The identities, not names, but the work, like how you would categorize these people,
Okay.
Of several people in the Epstein files. And he was like,
oh yeah, no, he mentioned,
he was like a high level Hollywood producer, whatever.
Actors.
Yeah. It's like a lot of people. And I suppose that's one of the reasons why they don't feel motivated. Because it wouldn't be explosive just for politics. It would be explosive for a lot of people in a lot of different areas.
No, I mean, it's all the big rich people, right? And the thing about it is that as soon as you hear think about Leo, right? Is Leo's not a billionaire. He's just sleeping with them. Like, he just knows all the billionaires.
Right.
He's in the Billionaire Boys Club, even if he's not showing, he can't flash the badge as an official member. He's still in it. He's still he's like an associate member. He's supposed to show up and hit their elbows and be like, hey, that guy Dale Wheatley, he wrote a book. Can you make sure it doesn't show up in the Kindle recommend reads? That'd be nice. Thank you.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Oh, Mason Timms is not Lisa's son. Okay. Well, that's good.
Well, then why do they have the same last name? Riddle me this.
Yeah,
Cosmic Urgency.
Well, I know our kid acts. I just don't know who he is. I never met him. I know he's in he's like the Spider-Man voice.
Well, this kid, this was his first big thing.
Mason Timms?
Yeah, the Black Phone was his first big thing. He had a short film. And then he was on a few episodes of TV in a TV show on Apple TV, I think. And then he got this. Good for him. It's pretty fucking cool that he auditioned into the lead role.
He's a ballet dancer. Well, he was born in Dallas, Texas. That's definitely unlikely a place where...
You don't think Byron Timms could
Yeah, Byron lives in L.A.
Oh, okay.
Weird that they don't have parents.
Yeah, I guess they're not famous.
He's not... What if he's AI?
He's not real. Hey, I'm going to have to go soon. So I didn't know whether you wanted to conclude early or whether you just wanted to wait and maybe I'd have to dip out.
Hang on a second. Yeah, dude.
What?
I'm pretty sure that is Lisa's kid.
Cosmic Urgency says no. We're going to have to wait till Lisa shows up. Where is she?
Cosmic Urgency is he knows enough.
Mateo wants to know, did you like John Huston as a director?
Yeah, I mean, I have to sort of, think long and hard about.
Could we rewatch everything he's ever done?
But I loved him. He was so epic. His sweeping epics and stuff. I have to remember his movies.
Stacey R said Nobody's Girl memoir came out today. I'm already in chapter 3. You got to get it.
Yeah, I'll get it tonight. I'll start reading. Who said this? Stacey's reading it already.
It's gonna bum you out.
Oh, it's gonna be hard. I'm a survivor of this stuff, and it's hard. Like I haven't read Educated because it's
Cosmic Urgency said Lisa's son is Hudson. Wait a second.
Oh,
Cosmic Urgency knows this. Who is it? Who are you? Show yourself.
Identify yourself once and for all. John Huston. Let's look at his directing. He's also a really fun actor. Let me see all the John Huston movies. Let's see the ones I've seen. Maltese Falcon. I loved it. I also liked the book. In This Our Life, I've never seen it. Let me see.
He did Maltese Falcon? That's so weird.
Yeah.
No way.
Well, I mean, okay. The African Queen, I loved, of course. Katharine Hepburn, man. Wait, fucking amazing.
No, John Huston.
Yes, John Huston. What about him? He did Moulin Rouge. I didn't see it. A Farewell to Arms. Did I see that? I read the book. The Misfits, I loved. That was Marilyn Monroe's, sort of drama. Like this was her, kind of, if I recall correctly, that is.
Is this Angelica?
I've seen a bunch, and yeah, I love him. He's fucking so iconic. It's ridiculous.
Is this Angelica Houston's father?
Yes, this is Angelica Houston's father.
And also...
And I got to meet her, and I got to spend an entire evening with her. That was such an unforgettable night. I didn't put it in the book because it didn't have any relevance.
When you say it's an unforgettable night, it almost makes it seem like it was just you and her.
It was
a clandestine
It was me and Angie. Me and Angie. No, it was a party that she threw with her husband. He was a sculptor. He's now deceased. He was a sculptor, and he was a dick, if I'm being honest. I did not like that man at all. I actually met him twice. The first time at this opening of his, because this was the party that I went to, was an art opening of his, and he was such a fucking dick to me. And I think it's because he knew there was no fucking way, no chance in hell I was going to drop $5,000 to $50,000 on any of his brass.
You're like, who's this? This guy's got empty pockets. Get him out of here.
As good as it was. Yeah, Prince's Honor is probably one of my favorites. You're right. It's a fucking great movie.
Well, I would rewatch all of these.
There's a bunch that I would... Wise Blood. Have you ever... You have to read the book,
I have to read it. You don't have it.
Yeah, we do. Mm-mm. Yeah, I have Flannery O'Connor's entire works. It's in there. I do.
I think it's behind you. There it is. Complete Stories.
Complete Stories, bro. Wise Blood.
I don't think Wise Blood's in there.
It has to be. It's one of her greatest fucking works. It has to be. You can't have the complete works. How can you have the complete works and not have Wise?
I don't know.
Wise Blood?
It's not complete works. It's her short stories.
Listen to me. Everybody hold their breath.
Do you want to hold that up?
She drops the N-word a lot, bro.
Do you want to hold it up?
I will when I'm done looking for what I'm looking for. I don't know if it's in here. No, it's not in there. It's called The Complete Works of Flannery O'Connor.
Complete Stories, Dale.
Complete Stories.
This is a short story collection. I got that because I like her.
Yeah, I like her too. Anyway, Wise Blood. You should read it if it's not in here. You should read it. She's
like the queen of no happy endings. She does not do a happy ending ever, and I love that about her.
So the guy who does the
Dale, just set it down. You can.
The guy who does the current T-Mobile commercials, the voiceover at the end, he actually runs the whole ad agency. He created this ad agency because a friend gave him a break. He used to be a very good friend of mine. Brian Klugman is his name, nephew of Jack Klugman, Quincy, if you know who that is, TV icon. He was also The Odd Couple. He did the TV The Odd Couple with Tony Randall.
Oh.
Is Tony Randall still alive? No, impossible. Anyway, so Brian Klugman, he got me into that book. He gave me this book as a gift.
Tony Randall died in 2004.
Yeah, there's no way he'd be alive.
My condolences.
Yeah. I remember that he died, of course. Tony. Anyway, yeah, man. Fucking John Huston. Why do you ask? Love him. Love his daughter, too. She's so amazing.
Cosmic Urgency said that Mason Thames, who is in the movie,
yes,
is in the new Colleen Hoover movie called Regretting You.
I hope he doesn't regret doing the Colleen Hoover movie. Good for her. Good for him. Good for them.
I'm glad that she... Well. So I don't know if you guys saw the letters that Justin Baldoni had shared when he was getting the... when he was optioning Colleen Hoover's book, like way back in 2019. But she talks about how she had such a hard time getting her work optioned by filmmakers because she kept getting screwed over, which is, of course, so sad because she worked with Justin Baldoni, who turned her shit into a fucking nightmare. But I'm just really, really glad that she's finally made it past that. And now her work is being optioned and produced by filmmakers without all of this drama anymore. It's like she had to exorcise the demon, you know, like purge the sickness. And now it's working out. Don't you think?
Yeah, I do. I highly recommend John Huston movies.
Shall we?
All of them. Might as well, right? He's a fucking master. He's made so many, dude.
Dale?
Oh, I think I saw Victory as well. I mean, of course I saw Annie.
Hey.
Yeah, I saw Victory with Sylvester Stallone. Isn't that funny?
You're ignoring me.
I'm not. You guys are the best.
No,
Thanks for hanging out with us.
You don't have to leave. I have to leave.
No, yeah, I'm going to go.
Okay.
You guys are the best. It's so great hanging out with you. Going to cut it a little short today by just a few minutes. Yeah, I mean, hopefully tomorrow we'll have more to talk about. If not, we're just going to sit and stare at the camera and see what you guys do.
Can you imagine?
Thanks for coming by. You guys are so fun. I hope tonight was a decent time. And yeah, I hope it just gets better and better. Until next time, au revoir.